Hey, Jimmy. How are you?
Hey there.
How are you?
Um, Going okay, and just adjust myself. Still a little weird of a weird week, but it's getting better. how
Well,
about
that's
how,
good.
how about you?
I was trying to get all my streaming channels straight. The one channel that we're supposed to stream to today, OneStreamLive,
Hmm.
I wasn't logged into, and I couldn't figure out why I couldn't get my announcements to show up there. But it turns out I wasn't logged in, but now I am.
Okay. And just remind me, what are we discussing today? I was trying to find the
Um,
notes.
You have created a series of events. Those series help you stay top of mind. And we're talking about going omnipresent and using your series of events to stay top of mind while streaming omnipresent. I know you don't stream, but you do have a lot of series to stay top of mind. And I was going to ask you about using all of that with live streaming,
Okay,
but mostly talk about how you build your series.
gotcha. With my, all right. So in regards to live streaming, I'm just trying to figure out how to, because I don't really live stream
I know.
really. So what should I? How should I? I mean, I've done Facebook live streaming and maybe a couple of times YouTube. I don't know if I should jazz it up a bit or, or something.
It's
Um,
okay. I told the people at OneStream Live that you don't live stream, but you do create a lot of events and you
mhm.
do create series to stay top of mind. And I'm thinking, what if you use that with live streaming?
Okay. All right. So I'll just follow your lead. How's that?
Okay.
Okay.
So at 10 o'clock, we will go live. We got 2 more minutes
Okay.
to hang out.
No problem. And how long are we doing? How long is this one?
About 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
So,
Gotcha.
in the announcements, I said that you're Jimmy Newsom over at Moving Forward Small Business.
Hmm.
So, I guess we could
Yeah,
talk
that's
about.
fine.
Okay, hooray!
No,
Appreciate it,
I'll
Jimmy.
follow your lead. We'll stay on topic and we'll take it from there. So
Okay.
just close everything down. We don't need any of this stuff. Okay. All right. Sounds fun.
One, one more. Oh, it's already 10 o'clock where you are. I was about to say I got one
No,
more minute. Oh,
no, I got one more minute. We're
okay.
good. So you have to go live on the dot here. Well, I mean, I guess we do anyway. So you have to get scratch that.
Well, I like to wait to 10 o'clock because that's when I said I would start, and I like to
Yeah.
try to keep my word.
No, of course. Now, would you consider webinars live streaming, but or this is not necessarily live
It is
webinars?
live streaming.
Yeah, if I was thinking. Okay, so yeah, I guess I mean I do that. So I guess this is just omni streaming. Streaming is what this is really about.
Yep. So today, right now, me and you, we're going to stream to 11 platforms.
Oh, all right then.
Okay, it's 10 o'clock. I am going to go live on custom streaming. Do you see live on custom live
Yeah.
streaming service?
Got it. Click. Got it. And we're good.
Hooray. So we are basically live now. I see that says redirecting and still we are live. Hooray. So
Nice.
Jimmy Newsom, we are live
Yes.
streaming. We are live streaming to 11 platforms right now. We are in OneStream Live group on Facebook. And I want to talk to you about how you create your series to stay top of mind. Can you tell us about one of the series that you have created so far?
Yeah. I've created a number of series. I've created quite a few, so I actually have to look at my website to kind of see because we're constantly working on building things. Two series in particular that we've been working on this year are the $1 Million Business Strategy and the Small Business CEO series. And I do a lot of speaking. I do a lot of training, but these two series that I've created are actually really focused around other presenters that I've been doing work with over the past year or so. So what I always try to do is look for a common theme, a common problem that needs a solution. And of course in the business world, there's a lot of things that are popping up because of the pandemic. And is it opening? Is the world opening up? Is the world not opening up? How do we continue to be as effective as we possibly can, while at the same time not putting ourselves in a position where we could lose it all? And that's where these series that I've been able to pull together, I've really been able to address those problems and help you kind of look through your crystal ball that's not necessarily gambling to make good decisions, so you can stay in business, and not only stay in business but flourish.
Yeah, I like that. So you're creating a series. What would you say that you wanted your outcome to be? What are you getting from creating the series?
Well, every series should have its own outcome, and so each series I look for, and like I said, I'll create series for myself, but I also create series for others I think have great messages, but they don't necessarily have a platform, or I see a need that what they talk about can fill. So every series that we create definitely has a purpose, has a mission, has a vision, and I have to get on the call if it's with someone else that we're creating a series. We get on the call and we talk about it. Before we start figuring out, throwing out events, and I go, well, what's the correlation between all the events? Is this a like kind of like a mini series? Because now we also have mini series, which is what we consider 3 events or less, and then we have full series, which can be as long as 12 months. With the ability for that, if the topic is broad enough, then the goal would be, hey, how can we take this even further? After 12 months, if the series is going great, why not keep it going? It's really looking at, it's like a combination of television and Netflix.
I like
So
that.
you can, yeah. So at the end of the day, we're looking, a series can have, Seinfeld has, I don't know, 37 seasons. I have no clue. I'm just throwing that number out. I know that's a lot. And so that's how we want to look at these series that I create, and that I create with partners is, all right, this is season 1. Can we greenlight season 2? Can we greenlight season 3? But again, it also depends on the topic. Some topics may not have enough information or enough content or depth to go that long, and some topics will. Now, when you take the $1 Million Strategy series, my partner on that is a young lady named Elaine Plofelt, and she wrote a book called The $1 Million One Person Business, and she's on I guess the second edition of the book just came out. So she's interviewed over 100 entrepreneurs in this space. That is a lot of content. And that was part of my reason going, well, how can we leverage this? Because I think the process came, the thought came was she came to me and was like, look, I have a lot of these guys in the book that want to speak. They want to share their knowledge. And that's where, the series came, because I'm like, well, then let's do a series. Now, the series is only 12, we do it once a month. And so that's only 12 speakers for the whole year. So I got my whole year already planned out without even having to break a sweat. Now, and the small business series, that's a different type of series, because that series is based on us interviewing people. The small business CEO series is a gentleman named Mark Taylor who does about 400 hours a month of coaching for CEOs of small businesses. So he's the one presenting the content there. I'm just providing all the platform, the back end, the structure, because there's so much, as you know, Erica, there's so much into planning an event in regards to, outreach, partnerships, the platform, the structure, and then, of course, the promotion. And that's where, it doesn't matter how great your event is. If you don't have great promotion, you're kind of dead in the water. So all these things come together, and like I said, so whether you're doing the series yourself or if you're putting it together on behalf of your partners, everybody's got to come together and go, why are we doing this? What's the purpose? What's the goal? And what are we bringing to the table? And what are we bringing to the table not only for the viewer, but what are we bringing to the table for each other? So it makes sense to make a partnership out of this thing in the first place.
Yeah, I like that you start with what your goals are and what you want out of it. So, what are some of the goals you look to have?
Well, for me, it's really about my organization now moving forward, small business. Moving forward, small business, our vision is to reduce the amount of startup failure with small businesses by 1 million businesses by the year 2050. Okay?
Oh,
And we do that by leveraging innovation, technology, and strategy. Those are the three pillars that we build everything on. And so, with that being said, now anybody that we engage to do a series or a one-off event has to cater to that audience and supply one of these three or all three of these pillars in order for it to make sense. So that's the goals that I set, and that's the vision that I set. And then at the end of the day, then I'll talk to them and go, well, what is the purpose? What is the vision? Why would you want to do something like this with us? Okay, so it always goes back to, what is the purpose, vision, and mission of your organization? And from there, everything else should stem, from there. Because if not, then you're not on purpose, and you're not being pointed in the right direction. People do events, I think, a lot just to do it. It doesn't have to be monetary, because people go, well, I'm not in this to make money. That's fine. But it needs to still be aligned with why you exist in the first place. Why does your organization, why are you as a coach, consultant, speaker, small business owner, whatever, why are you doing this? And it should lead you somewhere. So you need those goals in place. And like I said, and those are our goals. So these are the main things. If someone contacts me about something about going into the shoe business, me directly, I'm going to go no, because that has nothing to do with the purpose of my organization. I can help you grow your business or help you put together some series that can help you create maybe a marketing strategy or a business strategy or some type of strategy and structure that helps you push that business forward. But I'm not interested in going into the sneaker business because that's my purpose.
yeah, yeah. Got to stay focused. Got to stay on brand.
Yeah, and that's the thing about purpose, vision, and mission. It's you're going to be hit all the time, especially as the more successful you become. You're going to get a lot of opportunities. I get a ton of opportunities, and it's and now more and more ever now than before. I have to start saying no. I have to start, protecting my time in a way that because I only have so much time to give.
Yeah. So, is it getting harder to say no now?
Well, I actually no. it was it used to be hard saying no. And now it is a little bit because you still have people, friends that you feel like you owe a favor to or this and that. But the majority of the time, if you understand the purpose, if you can map out your purpose, goal, and mission, and I know I keep harping on that, but that's just how important that stuff is.
I
That
believe.
gives you direction to determine this is a great opportunity, but not for me. And I'm in the middle of a few things that I'm now getting out of because things are starting to morph a little bit more. My purpose is getting stronger, it's getting more direct, and I'm going, okay, this is no longer necessary. This is no longer necessary. So it's not necessarily for me about saying yes and no. It's about me now determining, is everything I'm doing now where I'm supposed to be? And in some cases, yes, and in a few cases, it's actually no now.
That's like the ultimate goal, to be clear on what you really want and go towards that goal. So, do you have them written out somewhere, displayed?
Well, a lot is on my website, and it's funny because today I'm about to start a new set of commercials on Hulu. We ran a few before, and they weren't as successful as I would like them to be. But it's because we rushed them. We're just excited to be on the platform. We want to try something new and all that stuff. And then we're like, okay, now that's enough. That's enough wasting money. Let's get serious about this. And today I go, we need to go and look at our purpose, vision, and mission. Because it was funny. Wistia, which is a video kind of hosting platform. They said something that I thought that has stuck with me, and they said if you want to never run out of content, market on your vision and your mission and your purpose versus your products and services, because it opens up the door for you to have more of a holistic conversation about topics and integrate your products and services into that, not the other way around. Because if you look at typical car commercials, they don't necessarily talk to you about the car. They talk to you about what you can do with the car. All of a sudden, you see a guy driving, going to the fishing spot, or someone going up the mountain to the cabin, the log cabin in the middle of the winter with the fireplace. And they're going, oh, you want to get there? You need the car. So and that's because the purpose is not to sell the car. The purpose is to make their lives better, to make them more enjoyable. So when we look at those things, that really helps us determine, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna look at this whole process, and how do we make sure that people are feeling like they're like, if they engage with me, they're gonna come out better on the other end.
I understand that. As soon as you said it's not the car, it's the experience, I was thinking about Jeep going up the mountain or trucks going up the mountain, Fords and Chevys.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking, you're streaming to Hulu, and you do a lot of webinars. Have you thought or considered live streaming to multiple platforms like we're doing right now?
I've done that before. It's at the end of the day, is for me, it's always been just about the manpower, or woman power, or people power, and just having enough people. But I think now, and this is where the technology comes in. As we're starting to expand and build really great partnerships with moving forward small business. Now, part of our job is to bring platforms like this to the forefront. Now, there's two sides of this. There's one is the platform, and two is the use study, the use case. I do a lot of partnerships with technology-based tools because I think some of us that are more on the business and the consulting side present a product or tool a lot differently than even the sales rep that presents it based on maybe features and certain benefits. We tend to base it on results. Because I always say features equals benefits, lead to results. So our job is to figure out how do we use it specifically for a specific purpose to get a specific outcome. So now that like a tool like OneStream exists, I think it's easier now to go, all right, before I would have had to hire a ton of people to do a ton of things. Now I can do that simply through here, and that's this technology and innovation stepping in and helping me as a small time player play bigger.
Yeah. When you were talking about having your mission, I wanted to bring in that just because OneStream lets me stream to 40 plus platforms at one time, I think is great. Do I really need to be to all 40 plus places at one time? Can I give that or all of those platforms what I need or want them to have, and they still get value from me? Because when I first started, I was seriously trying to force everybody to Facebook, and they didn't want that at all. Mm-hmm. People were deleting me and saying, don't make me go to Facebook, cussing me out, saying Facebook is the devil. So yeah, I definitely learned my lesson, but I still stream there because that is a place I want to be. I know how to use it, and I don't force people to go there. I tell them I can meet them where they are.
Okay.
And other links.
Yeah, and so I think there's two sides to that coin. And you hit on the head. The question is, and I this is something I might need to investigate a little bit more. How effective can you be being on that many platforms?
Yeah.
Is and so it's and again, so if you're maintaining each one of those platforms, like I said, I don't know. I'm looking forward to checking out OneStream a lot more myself, um, to reach more people. And I guess it also depends on what your purpose is in the first place, So, and I get the whole Facebook thing where Facebook has definitely been in the news quite a bit over the last few weeks, and people definitely have opinions about Facebook. So I can see where, and this is again where you're going back to your purpose, vision, and mission. If you're not truly living what you're preaching, people are going to have a problem with it. And that again goes back to purpose, vision, and mission to make sure that you have 100% alignment, and then you act accordingly because of that. And then people, they kind of know where you stand in the beginning. They can make a decision if they want to engage with you or not.
Yeah. So anywhere you see me online, you're going to see me talking about events, tools to help with events, stuff like that. And that is everywhere. I want that to be my brand. I want that to be my mission, that I can help you with events. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that written out, but it should be, and it should be on my website.
Yeah, it should definitely be there because people buy into your purpose and vision and mission. I'm working on some pretty, very, very big partnership opportunities, and it's not about me, Jimmy Newson. It's really about the purpose of the organization that I started. One of my mentors said a purpose should be something that outlives you. So that's how big that purpose really needs to be, because it's almost like something you can pass. You pass the torch to the next person to continue that legacy. And when you're thinking that big, now it's easier for others to want to be a part of that, and and they can adopt that. So and that's how you get buy-in from employees or and staff and partners, and to when there's a huge opportunity for them to go, this is why we do what we do. This is why this is worth not only the good times, but unfortunately the bad times. And keeps them there and keeps them focused. Of course, there's a lot of other things that have to come into play, but at the end of the day, there still has to be a reason, the burning reason why. And that purpose for us is, many people have seen businesses fail, and it's a sad thing, especially when these entrepreneurs and small business owners have poured their life into this business, not necessarily sometimes realizing what they're getting themselves into. It's great to think that you're going to be independent, and then you end up working twice as hard as you did when you had a normal job. And 5 o'clock comes, and you're still working when they're going home. And all of a sudden you're like, wow, I didn't know it was like this, and that's fine. But when you're passionate about it, you forget the clock and you just do it. But there still has to be some transition from hobby to actual career, and supported business. And if you don't know all these things, you're setting yourself up for a lot of disappointment and possible failure. And that's where we come in, and we're like, look, let's figure out how we help you bridge the gap and fix these things, leveraging technology, because if it wasn't for technology, I wouldn't be where I'm at today.
Thank you.
Because I have to play using these tools to be in a position to be recognized.
Yeah, definitely understand that. We're here in the U.S. I hear a lot that small businesses fail within the first 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's really great that you're willing to help people succeed past that. And I think, wouldn't your goal to do this within 5 years? 2030 or 2050?
2050 is to help 1 million businesses,
Oh, okay.
to save 1 million businesses. Now, we just recently officially launched. We kind of did a pre-launch last year during COVID, but we did an official launch a few months ago. So we're still on the ground floor. We're getting off, but that's where our partnerships are coming in, with major players that they're looking for a platform like ours to be able to get a message out to the masses, but a message that's strong, and also something that delivers on what we say we're going to deliver. I'm not necessarily I'm not the State of the Union guy, meaning, you go to these events and they're telling you the state of the industry. And the state of the industry doesn't help me with a problem I'm having right now. We're all about actionable things that you can start to integrate into your business so you can see some results sooner than later. And like I said, and that's around innovative products, technology-based products, and strategies, business and marketing strategies that, depending on what your goals and your purposes of your business. And let's talk more about your goals. What are your goals for your business-wise and marketing-wise, and which help point you in the direction on, all right, there's a million different tools out there. Which ones are going to be best for me based on what I'm trying to achieve? And so you're taking all these things into consideration, and and if you don't have a compass and those got your goals, your purpose, your vision, your mission, all this stuff is part of your purpose. And I know originally we got on here, we're talking about events, but again, it goes back to all this other stuff that has to be in place. You have to have that foundation, because now when you're sitting there and you meet somebody and you're like, immediately it clicks, wow, I need to do something with that person. I need to do something with that person, and it has to be aligned with the end goal of your business, you as a consultant or what have you. Everybody has the ability to be a media company and today because of this platform. So like Spider-Man says, and he wasn't the first one to say it, with great power comes great responsibility.
Ben, Spider-Man's Uncle Ben said that.
Oh, he did? Yeah. See? So I'm saying Spider-Man the movie, so then Ben gets the credit because I like Spider-Man.
I had a consultant call yesterday, and the guy didn't want to go over goals. He wanted to hear about event strategies. And I'm like, I can tell you strategy all day, but it will mean nothing if you don't have a goal. I mean, we can hold hands and run hard and fast all day, but we'll be blindfolded and we won't know if we won or not. We won't even know if we're close to the finish line.
Sure.
Like, we have to have certain outcomes. And it is very good to write these out, especially to have clarity and know where you're going. So yeah, all leads back to mission and purpose.
Mm-hmm. And if and I do. I spend more time writing. I never thought I would be a writer, but I feel like one. But I have templates that I use. They're kind of loose, and I'll probably fine tune them a bit, because as we're starting to grow, I need to pass the torch in certain areas. But there's certain things that have to exist for every event that I create, and not necessarily from just myself, but also when I'm now interacting with others. So we present a professional structure, and we build trust, because we're asking experts to trust us with their brand, and they want to know, well, what is it? Why are we doing this? What's in it for me? How do we make money? How do we do this? How do we do that? And we need to have the answers to those questions. Or at least start to determine that we do need those answers if we don't have them off the back. So creating structure around all this stuff, and then again, like you said, if he doesn't want to talk goals, then I'm going to assume he already has them. So tell me what they are, and if he can't tell you, then without a doubt, it's I've grown smart enough, and I'm in a position now where I can actually start saying no to people who don't check off all those boxes I need to start a relationship with you, especially one that is very integrated, that requires a lot of my time as well as a lot of your time, so
Did you have to work up to saying no? Did you have to work up to saying no?
Yes. Yeah, I think you do, because at the beginning you got to take what you can to build, and that's a goal. At the end of the day, my background started in the music industry, and I remember doing a lot of stuff for free. And what I ended up asking a lot of people as I was working with them, as I said, look, you don't have to pay me. I need a letter of recommendation or a testimonial. Next thing you know, by the end of the year, I had 35 testimonials from like record labels and artists and production companies. And then I was able to start charging, and then setting terms and structures my own. So I just transferred that over into this world here when I went into marketing. And now and then moved in from there into business consulting and advising, to understand, do I have enough stuff to say no, or do I need, and not that my goal is to say no, my goal is to stay focused and achieve something. And part of that is saying no more than saying yes.
So when people come to you for like consulting, do you help them with their purpose, mission, get clarity? Do you
Not
have
really.
no?
I just, yeah, let me take that back. It's yes and no. I talk to them about it, and I ask them if they have it. And most times they don't, or it's very loosely put together. And then I'll give them some resources to help them do it. I don't personally do that directly because that in itself is a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
To come up with my purpose, vision, and mission, and I understand it. Still took me a few weeks, but it could take you months to really figure out, because you should have a purpose, vision, and mission for your business and for you as an individual, because those are two different things. So you should have one for each set, and then they interact with each other. And that's how you say yes and no to things professionally and personally, you
All
know.
right.
And it gets you off the hook at the end of the day to say no and not feel guilty about it.
Okay, I can understand that. Would you happen to have a template on that? Because I have a feeling I've seen at least two of your templates before, and I think you could sell them. So if you have a template on the purpose, mission, statement, let us know.
There, I don't. It's actually part of a program we're rolling out. It's called the Leadership Timeline. So it's just a small piece of it, and it just links out to a. I'll send you the link to a guy who really did a great job of explaining the purpose, vision, and mission. So, and I think that would do you better, because I'm not an expert on purpose, vision, and mission. I just know you need it, and when you have it in place, it's easier for an individual like myself to come in and help you whatever I'm helping you with, um, marketing or business wise, because we're aligning it to that purpose, vision, and mission. And notice that still doesn't have anything. I didn't mention goals, because purpose, vision, and mission is direction.
Hmm.
Goals is how we're getting there.
Yeah. I was thinking you need that to be clear, and once you're clear, you can set up all of your series. You can better decide which series will be once a week, once a month, or once a year. And you can decide if you're going to stream all of that information or not, or stream it for an hour or not, what to hold in a private group or not, or have in a paid group. It's like all of that. If you're clear on your purpose, missions, and and goals, you
Hmm.
would know the answers to all of these. That's
Yeah,
how.
exactly. Yeah, and like I said, and your goals could be different. So let's say your goal is financial. Well, if your goal is financial, something in this process has to be monetized. On the front end, in the middle, on the back end, or if your purpose is visibility, then it's different, you know, because that will help you determine, do I need a paid Facebook group, or do I need to turn my site into a membership site, or do I just need to create more partnerships for awareness, you know, and that's my 6 month plan, my 6 month goal. And after we hit that goal, now I got new goals, because of course now things have changed. Now I had no members. Now I have 5,000 members. Well, but not most of those members. I don't have 5,000 yet. That's a goal of ours. But now that you have 5,000 members, how are you monetizing that?
Mhm.
Is it a free membership? Now you got to sell them something, or was it a paid membership? So that's great, but what more value can you add to upsell to them?
Mhm.
So there's a lot of things that now let what are their needs, surveying them, so now your goals can now align with something that they actually want from you, versus you creating in a vacuum and then people, nobody wants what you just created, or there's not enough demand as you thought there was. So and events are a great part of it, but in some instances events are different. Some events are education based, some events are networking based, some events are or monetary, in nature. So you need to know what type of events you should be producing and what your member base is looking for.
Yeah, definitely. Don't want to have a swap meet event and expect gala prices to be paid out.
Yeah. So all that stuff comes into play. And there's a lot, and there's no right or wrong. You just have to sometimes just get in the water, splash around a little bit, and you got to be willing to make mistakes, especially when we're talking about new technologies and technologies that you haven't used. Now, I've been in situations where I've had clients hire me, and I'll run their events as well, just like you've done, and because they're new to it. So one aspect for anyone on here listening is if you want to do more events and things like that, you seek out an individual like yourself, Erica, that has experience, streaming to multiple platforms, because we've been there, we've done that. So we can immediately offer insights that would cost you if done improperly, and save you time and energy. So what's that worth?
Yeah.
So bringing on a consultant, bringing on an expert, and and to them, it was funny. This particular client was a women's organization, and they originally engaged me to do this big thing, and then it ended up to being a small thing, but it was still their big event online. And I actually at the one point said, "I'm overkill. You don't need me. Here's what you can do." And their response was, "We don't care. It's worth paying you to not go through any pain for this event." And I got that. And so I charged them and got paid. And I did this very basic thing, but they weren't interested in they were interested in the security of having a successful event, and like I said, so these are all the things you're looking at, so their purpose of the organization probably outshine the fact that we're going to have to spend more money for this guy to come on board. And their purpose was like, if our purpose is to provide the best experience for our members, then it doesn't matter how much it costs. Because our members are going to walk away, blown away, excited, ready for the next one, and they've achieved their goal.
I like that they cared more about their members than how much it costs to have you do it for them and do it right.
Yeah. And that's another, like I said, again, going back to that purpose, vision, mission, this is the decision that they needed to make. And the pandemic has forced, I think Gary Vaynerchuk said it, that unfortunately, because of the pandemic, it has advanced small businesses and organizations by 5 years with technology. They had to do in 1 year what normally would have took them 5 years to migrate to. So now you got more people used to being online, used to being on camera, used to being on Zooms and OneStreams and all these platforms. Now that they're aware of it, now they're aware of the process. Now they want to be more aware of the tools and how does it actually help them grow their business.
Yeah, I gave a talk to a group of event planners, and I was talking to them about repurposing their long form content. And I got to the part where I streamed to 11 different platforms at one time. And they're like, "How do you do that?" I was like, "Well, you don't have to stream to 11. You can use the 2 that's on Zoom." They're like, "You can stream on Zoom?" I'm like, "Yes, you can. There's a button for that." And it's like, "Where's that button?" Mm-hmm. Everybody's excited. So yeah, I think everybody's getting excited about the new technologies that's just readily available.
Yeah, and I guess the question is, at the end of the day, are you ready for it? You don't have to use it all, but you should. I always say people don't use the tools they use the tools at 5%. This is what I usually find with any technology-based tool. The majority of the people are using the tool way less than they probably should. So they're paying all this money for these tools. You should investigate what can this tool really do for me and leverage as much of it as you possibly can, because that's why the tool was created in the first place. The problem is just figuring out how do I apply it to what I need to do on a daily basis, or to help me.
Yeah. Um, I'm a fan of AppSumo, very addicted. I've slowed down a lot. I've recently gone through all of my tools and I haven't used a good many of them. But
Yeah.
what I do have, I swear I use it to the best of my ability.
Yeah. Well, I think you and I are a little bit different. You know, when you're running like a business outside of technology, and maybe that's not the right way to say it, but you know, we're invested in a lot of tools. So for us, it makes sense to understand that tool.
Mhm.
But for most people, it's cumbersome. It's I don't have time for this. But at the end of the day, they're leaking money.
Yeah.
So that's a problem, and a solution has to be created. And that's actually something that I should probably think about more. But that's where they need to figure out a solution around. All right, if we're going to start investing in these tools, you know, these tools have a lot of potential for us. So, you know, do we assign a single person to this tool to really understand it? Or, of course, again, bring on an expert. And I do this a lot. I'll do an event or do a project for someone, but I also sometimes teach the team so they can take over on
That's nice.
that and keep moving. Yeah, and you know, and then there's a separate price for that, of course. But at the end of the day, there's, you know, we want to help the businesses grow. Now that's counterintuitive as for me as a consultant, because I'm working myself out of a job, but it's on point for my organization. So I have conflicted interests with myself sometimes, and I'm working on solving that.
Well, I think it's nice that you would offer to train them because if they need help, they need help, but they have somebody inside and you offer your time and energy and knowledge to train them. But they'll come back to you for something else. Like Jimmy was nice enough to do all of this for us. Maybe he could come back and help us with this. Like I think
And
that's
that,
enough to stay top of mind. Be helpful.
and that yeah, and that is exactly what is happening. Because it's funny, the same organization just came back to me to hire me to speak next year, which is not what I originally started working with them on. But it's also the fact that, you know, what are your skills? You know, I just happen to also be a speaker, so it helped. Most of the individuals in my, you know, that I deal with that do what I do don't do all this stuff I do. You know, what I realized, and this is where you as an individual, and like I said, I don't know how many consultants and coaches and whatnot we have on this call, but I decided one thing I always talk to certain business owners about, especially in the technology world, is if you're a coach or consultant or someone in that realm, and you help clients, what tools do you use that help you achieve the goals for your clients? And if there are any tools that you use, master them. Master them to the fullest, because then that becomes a skill set that you can use, you can talk about, you can leverage to a point where you can reach out to the organization, the company that owns the tool, create partnerships with them. And I do that a lot. SEMrush is a tool I use so much that I literally speak for them once every 2 or 3 months because I know that tool so well. But I also recommend that tool. And that tool has been amazing for me in regards to working with clients, you know, and even picking up clients.
SEMrush, don't you?
Hmm?
You have a series on that tool.
Yeah, I have a ton of content that I produced around that tool. I don't have an actual series. I just do tons of trainings on it because I know it so well. And I know it so well that the company now calls me and asks me if I'll do an event on a specific topic using the tool, and then I'll do research and tie it together, and then produce an event.
I
You
like
know,
that.
and then they're the ones doing most of the promotion. You know, and so they're like I said, so there's so many ways that you can leverage. You know, and this is where now, you know, live streaming makes sense to me to start adding that, because the first thing is the content. The content sucks. It doesn't matter how many places you're streaming. So the content is always is always the top of the food chain here. If the content's great, now we can figure out distribution strategies so we can get it out to the masses so they can talk about it, enjoy it, share it, you know, and get more people to come back and continue to patronize you and your organization.
Yeah. So with live streaming and doing, even though it's not a series, it if you chop that up and you can put it out on let's say we're using OneStream because we are.
Right.
All those series you have on, or I'm sorry, not series, all those events you did with SEM Rush. And if
Yep.
you chop that up and just put like little snippets out, and you can put it back on OneStream and then resend it out again, like multiple times, like 1 minute clips of your videos. I think that is a great strategy to still keep your name out there and still be top of mind. Even put your affiliate link with SEM Rush will be a great way to stay out there.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's so many different things that you can do, and that's definitely one great one. And then we talk about repurposing content. I guess one of the first things I always think about, and this is a big element of how I choose topics, is their level of being evergreen. An evergreen meaning, is this topic going to be important or relevant in 5 years from now? 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now. Because if it's not, then you can't repurpose certain things, especially if that technology is changing so fast. And that's kind of why I purposely, I'll look at a tool, but I focus on, when I teach, strategy. Because strategy never really goes out of focus. The tools will change, but the strategy should always be consistent, and it could change, but it doesn't change as fast as technology changes,
Yeah.
So, so I think about that when I talk about repurposing content, because if you're talking about a very specific strategy, that strategy could definitely be outdated in 2 or 3 years or 5 years. So, and that's big on like I said, on my series. And that's why my series are not really based on a tactic. It's based on an idea or kind of like a broad term that could mean multiple things or give me room to maneuver within that topic.
I can understand that. Like at the start of our talk, we were talking about purpose and missions. If you took a clip out of this talk we're doing right now and put that back out, I think that would be evergreen.
Exactly, yeah, because you're always going to need a purpose, a vision, and a mission, and it always has to be aligned with the strategies and your goals and your strategies. And then now you need an execution plan, and that execution plan is what is available to you at the time.
Yeah.
Or what is available, and when we say available at the time, you may or may not possess the tool yet, but it's available.
Yeah. So another thing I like about OneStream, not only can I re-put this interview back out later, I can chop it up and put it on there and put it out, but it has a scheduler. So I can put it out when I want to, when I think it would be best for my audience to hear it. And I can pair it with other posts, like a written post or whatever. So, yeah.
Yeah, and that definitely helps. I actually gave a talk just recently for I forget who it was, but I mentioned that it was for local SEO, so it was actually for a conference last week, I think. And I mentioned to them, from a local SEO standpoint, that they need to be on all the platforms, whether they use the platform or not, at least the major ones: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. And someone mentioned to me, what if we don't have time to put content on all those platforms? And for me, I just want what we call the citation, the name, address, phone number, because their domain authority scores usually are 90 or 90 and higher, up 90 to 100. But at the end of the day, if you are able to repurpose some of this content, like you said, and you're being active about producing content, you should be able to, at this point, make sure that there's content going to these platforms. And if you can automate it through your automated scheduler, and be think in advance on how you can take an hour long conversation and chop it up into small pieces, and now you can feed the social media beast for the entire month, with this content. As long, because if everything else is in alignment, you should be able to drive it back to something that's going to get them to take the desired result you want them to take, whatever that might be.
Yeah, don't just put out content. Definitely have a call to action, so everything you put out will have a purpose. That is a good point to make.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Every video, every piece of content should have a single purpose and a single call to action. And I'm guilty of putting multiple call to actions, but I try. I'm aware when I do it, and I'm like, I probably should do this, but I do it anyway. But so most of the time I can stick to one single one, but man, that's hard sometimes.
It is. I heard that some people can get away with 3, but it is best for 1.
Yeah, it's best for one. And people business owners have this FOMO, fear of missing out on closing as many people as possible. And it's really not about that. It's really about, building it organically, building it in a way where, when people opt in and the opt in is singular, you really have a great opportunity to understand what's the next piece of conversation you should be having with that individual.
Yeah.
And not saying you can't track the other ones, because you can as well. You could track which call to action and then make it accordingly, but that's more of an advanced strategy. If you're starting out, or you're new, or you're relatively new to all this, stick to a single call to action, so when people take that action, what the follow up should be. And that's how you continue the conversation with a new lead as you're turning them into a potential customer, because obviously if they've opted in into something specific, you already know what their problem is or the goal they're trying to achieve. So now your only job is to help them push them, keep them on that path, and get a result.
Yeah, I like that. And with opt-ins, if you promise that you're going to give me something like an ebook and you say psych, I hate that, and I will unsubscribe.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's crazy. Someone did that to you?
I think it really was an ebook, but it wasn't what they said it was, or it wasn't what I thought it was.
Right.
I had opted in for like some marketing strategy, but it was for Bitcoin, and I felt like it was a bait and switch. So.
Right. Yeah, you gotta throw that. Yeah, that's yeah. Yeah, no, I'm yet to understand that whole Bitcoin thing, but it's not for everybody.
Well, Jimmy, let everybody know where they can find you online.
Well, as you can see, I'm assuming my name is at the bottom. If you Google my name, I'm an SEO expert here. I'm almost said guru, but I'm staying away from that word. And I own the top 5 pages, if not 6 pages of my name. But you got to spell it with an N, not an M or M-E. You can email me at jimmy@jimmynewson.com or jimmy@movingforwardsmallbusiness.com. I know that's a mouthful. Or you can just go to any one of those websites, jimmynewson.com or movingforwardsmallbusiness.com. You can connect with me there. I'm very, very easy to find online.
And I want everybody to know that Jimmy throws very nice events, very nice networking events, very nice trainings. Definitely look up Moving Forward Small Business. Oh, Jimmy, appreciate you. Thank you for your time.
I appreciate you having me on. I always enjoy talking to you. You're a wealth of knowledge yourself, and it's always very cool.
All right. Thanks, Jimmy.
You got it. Take care, everyone.